All right, so we're going to talk about some of the deals that I've done that went really well and some that went not so well, where I ended up losing some money. But the benefit of that is that now I can pass that knowledge on to you, and hopefully you won't make the same mistakes. I'll go ahead and preface this a little bit is that most of these deals are far enough in the past where it's not that big of a deal for me to share some of the details. We've had some people ask about maybe references or people that have done deals with us in the past. And because of the nature of it, it's not one that people want to kind of share their position or, we're telling details for everybody to see. So generally, you want to play your cards pretty close to your chest with these details, going around kicking doors in or posting on Facebook or doing a video live. Hey, look what I just got for such and such. It's amazing how far the internet will carry things, and it's not uncommon for people to see something online and then they end up going to redeem it and it just ends up being a mess. So, word of caution is when you do purchase something, to be mindful that not you're not the owner of the property. You have rights to the property, you have possession. There's a lot of things you can do with the property, and we'll talk more about that later on in the rest of these videos. But it's not a position that you want to flaunt. It's one that you do you, and when it's free and clear and everything's done, then you can kind of brag to your friends about it. But so we'll get into a couple of them. I had a let's see which one we'll talk about first. I had a condo in Center Point that was in an area that I really didn't. So let's say is when you buy a property, make sure you go through and look at it first. And this was one that I didn't go and look at first, which is probably it was good and bad. Anyways, I recommend looking at property before you buy it. But so I had this property over in Center Point. I paid $320 for the taxes on it, and this was because of the low value of the property. I think it was worth like 15 grand. But it was a one bedroom, one bath little condo over in Center Point, and I probably put $2,500 into it, flooring, paint, things like that, and ended up renting it out Section 8 for $625 a month. And I think they were there for two and a half years before the HOA kind of fell apart. And that's neither here nor there. Let's see, another one. I had a property over in Norwood that I bought the back taxes on. Basically, the owner had not been paying their taxes, and they had somebody that was owner financing the deal from them. So we ended up getting the property and then reselling the property back to them. I want to say I probably spent 10 grand on purchase plus legal to get to where it was, but I ended up getting, I think, like a $8,000 judgment along with the property being sold back to the people at, I think they bought it for 30,000 at 10% interest over 10 years. So however that works out. So that's another one that really went really, really well. And they've been paying, they got like another 5 or so years. Anyways, and then I'll talk about one that didn't go so well is that I had a condo. I had a thing for condos for a while. I've kind of changed my pitch a little bit. Had a condo over in Birmingham that the power had. So and we'll go more over this later on in the video on what to look for and kind of things that would make you think that the property is abandoned so you can just take it over. And the power had been off in this place for 2 years. The HOA hadn't heard from them. It was just nothing. So okay, it's abandoned. I'll drill the locks. I made the repair work for it. And I probably put $6,000 into the property, paint, repairing, stuff like that. Anyways, the HOA, I made the HOA aware that what I was doing and try to pay off the back stuff, and they ended up contacting the owner, who ended up being like, well, okay, I want to redeem. And I'm like, well, okay, let's pay this. And in most cases, I would just rent it out and use the rent money to finance my legal work as it sorted itself out, and then they would pay me my legal fees and life would move on. Which was the plan. However, I was not aware that the HOA was about to cut off the balconies of all these places. So it was just doors. There was no way to access them. and it sat that way for 9 months as I burned cash with my attorney. And I think the whole situation was bad, and coupled with the attorney could have done things probably differently. But neither here nor there. But I probably ended up losing somewhere around $5,000 after I got some settlement money from them, and we all kind of parted ways. So the things that I will be sharing and kind of teaching you guys is from these experiences. There's a bunch more, but these are kind of I would say some highlights that give you some different ideas on what you can do. Is that you can rent them out, you can live in them, you can owner finance them back to the owners, you can owner finance it to a tenant. There's so many ways and so many things you can do with this stuff, and then we'll go more detail into that later on, and some of the processes that you can use and things that I've learned and knows and the do's and the don'ts. So hopefully that's given you a little bit of insight on some deals that I've done and how hopefully you can replicate them.